Welcome to the Invahument Company podcast, the show made by music enthusiasts for music enthusiasts.
What's happening, y'all?
What's up, y'all?
I'm Ashton.
And I'm KP.
And you are watching the Invahument Company Music Podcast, the show made by music enthusiasts.
For music enthusiasts.
That's right. Y'all know what it is. And what can I say? We back. We back with some more content for you guys because we love y'all. Y'all are people and we going to make sure y'all are covered. You know,
Period.
So we got y'all. Y'all ain't got to worry about nothing over here. But, hey, so we have a couple of points that we would like to bring to light, or not actually bring to light, that we would like to talk about, but we don't have a lot of time to really do it. So we're going to make this short and sweet.
Period.
Mm-hmm. So Choirmaster Ricky Dillard was recently interviewed and was asked about, I guess, I don't want to say the state of alert, but, you know, I guess the current state of R&B nowadays. And, you know, the point that he brought up, you know, because it's way different. It's not dying or it's not dead. But we can all say that R&B in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s is not what it is now in 2026. I mean, you can be two ways about it. There's some great R&B artists making excellent music now, but I guess the feeling isn't the same. I think one point that we and him kept driving home is that, you know, R&B artists really don't come out of the church. You know, you could just sing in school, sing and do your favorite cover songs and all the talent shows in school. And then before you know it, they're people there because they probably don't know any better. And people at the school are equating you to be the next Whitney Houston or Anita Baker or something like that. I mean, what would you say about it?
Yeah, like I think he made very good points that you and I have often made on this show. He was basically saying, you know, he argued that the Black church has shifted away from its own musical traditions by embracing more contemporary Christian music. And, you know, praise and worship styles originated largely like in the white evangelical spaces, like, right. You know, and he definitely said like he understands like worship and church and all that should be like inclusive and, you know, broad or whatever, but that we should not get away from the roots of our ancestors and what we know. And I feel like that was a huge point that needed to be said from someone as legendary as Ricky Dillard.
Oh, for sure.
He also said, you know, which that in turn, you know, when the church stops nurturing gospel choir culture and music, you know, musicianship and quartet traditions, like it also weakens the biggest pipelines into R&B and soul music, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because it's funny, but it's not funny. You know, you see people post, and I've posted it, like, I want my R&B artists to sound like a backslidden Christian. You feel me? Like, that is the truth. Like, I need to know that you can sing on a bad PA system and all, you know, all the things. That's the R&B that we know. That's the R&B. That's where R&B comes from.
Exactly.
Right? Like, and so for him to make that point and say that, I feel like a lot of people agreed with his statements because his statements are true.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like with any kind of soul music, like gospel, jazz, R&B, even though they have kind of put, you know, conservatories have gotten behind that sound, I personally think that it can't be taught. You know, like either you have because it's all feeling. You know, you can't teach feeling. It all stems from emotions and, you know, trials from past hurt or whatever. Like it all, like music brings out those emotions, and like you can't teach somebody to hurt. They actually have to experience the hurt. You can't teach somebody to, you know, I guess, be head over heels in love with somebody. You actually have to experience that for yourself. So, and I think that's probably one of the biggest issues is that people think that they can learn the emotion behind all the greats. So I'll say it that way. But that's the thing. People think they can learn it, but it's all feeling. And then one point that Ricky Dillard said, which was a mic drop for me personally. He said, with contemporary Christian music being the thing in Black churches now, how that's just, you know, just like the apex of Black church now, unfortunately. He said, if that's the direction we're going to continue in, then we should just do away with R&B music. altogether. And I mean, that's right. Cause like I said, for me personally, I feel that R&B music, one of the soul genres, you know, it's feeling, it's emotion, you know, it's,
I mean,
you know,
R&B has a sound.
Yeah, it has a sound. Yes.
I mean, you can say what you want, but R&B has a specific sound.
No, that's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it just is what it is. Just like country has a specific sound, classical music has a specific sound, R&B has a specific sound, and that sound comes from the church.
Comes from the church, yes.
Specifically, the Black church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so, I mean, that's just kind of what it is. I mean, and the facts are the facts. I feel like praise teams were a blessing and a curse, right? Like they came, you feel me? Like we got away from the 50 to 80 member choir with, you know, live bands and, you know, harmonies and specific things to learn to like very, to praise team singing songs that don't require the same level of vocal ability or musical complexity. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of unison going on.
Man,
it's a lot of unison. It's a lot of the same sounding music. Where that was the beautiful thing to me. That is the beautiful thing to me about gospel music. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah.
Although you know the sound, there's some complexities there.
Yes.
Like. So the harmonies in these choirs and different, like what you sit there and you study that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, there's a sound with R&B.
Yeah. And I'll say this. I maybe, well, how could I word this? I know music, most say that, you know, musical genres are supposed to evolve, you know, at some point they do have to, you know, change like one component of it, but I guess the one thing that should remain in R&B music or even in gospel is the soul. That's it. That's it. If you don't have the soul, then you should probably don't do R&B. Do pop music or anything that has more technical components than soul components.
Yes. Yes, because that was like a conversation.
Yes, for sure.
With that, the emotional depth, right?
Like, right.
Like in church, there's storytelling that happens.
Yes.
When people walk a song, that's like, you feel me? Like, that's like storytelling. It's the same, like, it's really just the thinnest line. When you think of R&B singers of old, you know, you talk about the Temptations and all of them, like the way that they would sing songs, walk songs, that stuff came from church. Like runs, call and responses, emotional storytelling, like gospel instilled that in those R&B blues singing artists.
Oh yeah, I think Otis Redding comes to mind whenever you talk about that, like really walking and working the song and engaging with the audience. Because the one song, "That's How Strong My Love Is,"
yes,
that man absolutely walks that song like
and
it's
most blues artists do.
Yeah, he walks that song like it's a lecture, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Shout out to Ricky Dillard.
Shout out to Dr. Ricky Dillard
for actually speaking his mind and saying what we've all been saying, and letting that be told to one of the greatest choir masters in the world.
For sure, yes.
Shout out to Dr. Ricky Dillard.
Oh yeah. Something on a more lighthearted note. Shout out to Cleveland, Ohio's own Dazz Band for getting a street named after them on Lotus Avenue in Cleveland, the very same street where they signed their record contract for 20th Century Fox. You know, you had all the living original members, including some of the newer members, were there, from Michael Calhoun to Bobby Harris and everybody. So that was a sight to see. And actually, I'm in Kinsman Dazz Band, so we actually had a show. Well, Kinsman Dazz Band, we played at the Pilgrim Family Fest in Buffalo, New York. The same night, that very same night when they got that street named after them, the Dazz Band played at MGM in Cleveland, Ohio. So it was beautiful. So but yeah, let's talk about it. And so Kinsman Dazz and Dazz Band, originally Kinsman Dazz Band, you know, they released their first two albums as Kinsman Dazz. And like you said, you just found out that Marvin Gaye was one of the producers on their first album. So
absolutely. It says he would, you know, they were working with Marvin on the debut project, but
Mhm.
because of, you know, Marvin being sick, he couldn't finish producing it. And so that's where Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire comes in.
Mhm. Yeah, him and Ralph Johnson, like Mike Calhoun, who's the leader of Kinsman Dazz, he talks about that all the time. How, you know, they got to produce their first album, and just the rave reviews that they got off that. And then in Dazz, which was their follow up album in 1979, with that, and then just a whole lineup of other songs that I love from them. Just like of course their classic "Let It Whip," you know, "Gamble with My Love," "Joystick," "Let the Music Play,"
Party Right Here.
Party Right Here. There's a party right here in your town tonight. So,
period.
Mike Calhoun actually hates that song, is what he said. But that's one of the ones that he didn't write. So that's the reason why, because we actually were performing that on our live set, but he wanted to take it off. So that, and then, you know, of course, "Swoop, I'm Yours," and, you know, just a whole lot of other, and I'll submit this, you know, Dazz Band, Kinsman Dazz Band, you know, they don't get the credit that they deserve, because they're one of the pioneer funk bands, you know, one of the ones that was actually doing it back in the late 70s, early 80s, and one of the bands that are continuing on, because Kinsman Dazz and Dazz Band, both bands are still active, traveling all over the country, traveling all over the world, you know. They got fans all over. So shout out and congratulations to Dazz Band for getting the Dazz Band Way on Lotus Avenue named after them. And, you know, I saw the video on Facebook. Obviously, Mike Calhoun and Chris Kuda of Kinsman Dazz, they were there, and Mike Calhoun actually, he got to have some words as well as they were honoring them. So I didn't get to be there because I was traveling to Buffalo for the gig that same day. But, and they came later, but, congratulations to Kinsman Dazz and Dazz Band, you know, well deserved. You know, it was actually their 50-year anniversary. They started back in 1976, released their debut album in 1978. And, it's just beautiful. So it's just beautiful to see them get their flowers, you know, while they're still in the land of the living. So, that's what I'm most happy about, that they're actually here to see, this honor. So, congratulations to them.
Congratulations to Ohio legacy. You know what I'm saying? Legends. You know, Cleveland and Dayton have contributed more to funk and R&B history than they usually get credit for. You know,
more than anybody else. I'll say
period.
that. Because, you know,
absolutely.
Again.
So Ohio proud. Listen, Let It, and I see that Let It Whip has been sampled and referenced over the years by hip hop artists, R&B artists, you know, which is why it's remained one of the most recognizable grooves more than 40 years later. So yay, shout out to them.
Oh yes. So but yeah, we didn't want to be y'all here all night. You know, we just wanted to, you know, bring those things onto our platform. So
absolutely,
we're gonna go ahead and let y'all go. This was a short and sweet of the In Vehement Company Music Podcast, the show made by music enthusiasts
for music enthusiasts.
That's right, y'all. Have a good one.
Peace.